Hi, this is John Dennis. This will be another short video on how to configure your Trimble TSC3 data collector using the software Trimble Access to perform a static GNSS observation. When we get into the data collector in the TSC3, we first need to click on the bottom right of the screen where you can see we've got our Windows icon. By clicking on this, it'll bring up options for us. We want to choose the software program called Trimble Access. Click on that. And we've got to give it a couple seconds for the program to run. You can see we're running Trimble version 2017.23 at this current time. Once it's run, you can see that we're now in the program Trimble Access. We're going to be accessing this general survey option right here. If we click on that icon, we're now in the window that gives us all the options we need to access in order to perform our specific task, in this case, a static GNSS observation. As you can see, right now, we're receiving 12 satellites. Our battery power on the data collector is the top battery at 95%. Our batteries on the GNSS receiver at 77%. And we are currently receiving 12 satellites. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new job. So we'll come into Jobs. I'm going to click on Jobs, and I want to create a new job. This job, we'll give it a name. I'll call it GNSS Static. I'm going to accept the default template. We now need to set our coordinate system. We change the coordinate system by clicking on the option, and we want to select from a library. I'll click on Select from Library, and we're going to choose the State Plane Coordinate System of 1983. We need to make sure that we're in the correct zone. In this case, we're in Monticello, Arkansas. So we're going to choose Zone Arkansas South, Zone 302. I want to use the current geoid model. In this case, the model that I can access is going to be the 12B. We'll set that as our geoid model. I'm now going to go down to page 2. And I'm going to accept all the coordinates as a grid coordinate, and I'm going to give an approximate height, working height. I know the area here is approximate height is 280. I'm going to type in SFT for survey feet, and once I hit enter, we can see we've now set our coordinate system. With that being done, we're going to go down to the bottom right and store that in. I now need to adjust the units of measure that I'm going to be using. I want to be using survey feet. So I click on that, and you can see we've got 3 pages of unit values. I'm going to change my distance from meters. We have options. We're going to choose survey feet. I'm going to change my height. I'm going to change that to survey feet. I'm going to leave my angles at degrees, minutes, and seconds. I'm going to change my temperature to Fahrenheit. I'm going to leave my grade. We can change our pressure if we want to work in units that we're more familiar with. I'm going to change it to inches of mercury. I can change page 2. This is where I'm going to adjust my area settings. My area settings from square meters, I want to be measuring in acres. And my volume, I want to be measuring in cubic yards. I'll go to page 3. I'm going to accept all these defaults. Basically, I'm reading to the thousandth decimal place for my distance values, coordinate values, the way my lat longs are going to be displayed. I will accept all these measurement values. I have no linked files. I have no active map. My feature library, that will be shown in another video. I will link to my feature library. It's going to be my School of Forestry Natural Resource Code list. We'll now go to page 2. Here I'm going to take my COGO settings as being on ground. I'm not going to adjust any of the additional settings. This reference description operator, this is just metadata that I want to add. I'll put in operator, I'll put in my name. and I'll put in the description as a static observation. So you can see I'll go to page 2. So I'm back at the beginning. Once I've set all my coordinate system, units of measure, I will accept this. We've now created a job. You can see the name of the job is GNSS static. So now in order for me to begin actually recording the data, I've got to turn on the receiver. So I'm going to go to Instrument, and I want to go to GNSS Functions. In GNSS Functions option, I want to look at my current position right now. We can see I'm getting my northing and my easting and my elevation. GNSS is real-time observation, so you can see these values are changing by the thousandth and the hundredth of a survey foot, both on the X and Y and on the elevation. My antenna height needs to be set at 2.0 meters. If I hit enter, it will adjust that immediately, or if I hit enter down here, it will adjust that to survey feet, the equivalent of 2 meters. I'm measuring to the bottom of my antenna mount. If I go to page 2, we can see my DOP values, my HDOP and my VDOP. My PDOP is at 1.7. So now that I've determined my position, I'm going to store this position, and I'm going to give a point name. A point name is the actual number, so I'm going to call this point number 101, and I'm going to give it a code that's going to link to the code list that we imported, and I'm going to just call this a control point. I'll hit enter, and I'll store that value. Now that I've stored this value, I'm going to come over here to the bottom left and escape. And I'm going to escape again back to the main menu. So we went and set up the job. I then determined my position and stored that point by coming into Instrument, GNSS Functions, Position. Now to begin the static observation, we're going to go to Measure, bottom left. I'm going to click on Measure. This is a static observation, so we're going to choose the R8 base. I want to click on Start Base Receiver. It's starting the receiver. The point name, we just determined that. That was 0.101. The antenna height is 2.0, and I'm going to type in the letter M for meters. I hit enter. If I hit enter, you can see Trimble Access does a conversion of 2 meters to what its equivalency in survey feet. I'm measuring to the bottom of the antenna mount. Let's just, again, make sure we're getting good numbers. We've got enough battery power. We're receiving 12 satellites. Our antenna height is set at 6.562 survey feet. We're getting really good PDOP values. I'm going to hit start. We're starting the survey. The base is started. And now it's just a matter of sitting for 15 minutes for a rapid static observation, or 2 hours or longer for your standard static observation. Now that we've completed the survey, we've been cooking our recording data for over 15 minutes, or at least a minimum of 15 minutes, if not longer than 2 hours for an OPUS static observation. We're now going to stop our survey. As you can see, we're still receiving about 10 satellites. Now to stop the survey, we come to Measure, and we're going to go to R8 Base, and we're going to select End GNSS Base Survey. This will end the survey, but we do not power down the receiver. Select option No. From here, we need to import the data from the GNSS receiver into the Trimble TSC3 data collector. To import the base data, we're going to go to Instrument. From here, we're going to go to GNSS Functions, and we want to select Import Files. Here we can see the name of the file, the size of the file type, and the date. The easiest way is to organize the data by the date that it was recorded. Clicking it twice will put the data in the order on when it was recorded. You can see here highlight the file, select Import, and you can see the file name. It's a T02 file. We're bringing in one file. We'll select Start. The file has been successfully imported into the Trimble data collector. Click OK. And now you can start working with your data on the desktop computer in your office. That concludes how to do a static GNSS observation.